Hi Ready Set Mums, welcome back to week 27 of your pregnancy. Now I know you might be feeling pretty heavy at the moment and wondering how on earth you're going to fit more baby as it's growing inside your belly. But your baby is still growing, it's growing fast, and it really is refining the development that it's been doing over the last couple of weeks. Its brain activity is increasing, so get ready for those jabs and punches. And you might also notice that you start to have little hands or elbows or feet dig up under your ribs, and there's not a lot that you can do about it. It's getting really squishy in there. Now your baby is about the size of a cucumber, so it's about 14.5 inches long and weighs about 2 pounds, almost 2 pounds. Also, because your baby's eyelids are able to open, it's blinking and it's still practicing sucking and breathing. Now with that breathing to develop its lungs, with the taking in of amniotic fluid into its lungs, can come hiccups, and your baby can also get hiccups in reaction to foods that you eat. Now my first daughter, Ayla, my first pregnancy, she was a really hiccupy baby. She used to get the hiccups in my belly 3, 4, sometimes more than that times a day. And it was really interesting because at the time I was a teacher and I used to wear quite tight modal clothing over my belly, and I'd be standing in front of 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old teenage boys, and my belly would be moving up and down, and you can feel the hiccups, and the rest of your body isn't moving. So it's a really interesting experience the first couple of times that you actually feel that. Now, 27 weeks, you've probably constantly gained weight and maybe possibly gained quite a little bit of weight. This is really normal, but with that often comes swollen hands and swollen feet. Now I know we've spoken about this before, and this is due to the excess in fluid in your body tissue, but if you feel like it is really uncomfortable or really excessive, just seek some information and some support, or ask questions of your doctor or your midwife. But a way that you can actually combat this is drinking water, and make sure that you move around often. Elevate your feet at nighttime and don't sit still for too long. Now around about 27 weeks, you may still also be experiencing all of the other symptoms or none of the other symptoms that we've spoken about. Everyone is different, but some other things that you might be experiencing are swollen gums. Okay, so when you brush, sometimes your gums can bleed because of this, so make sure you brush and floss regularly and gently. You may also be experiencing a fair bit of body aches around this time. Your uterus is swollen now, you're stretching, your ligaments are stretching, you've gained a little bit more weight. I know that I started to feel body aches and pains at different stages with both of my pregnancies, but really do what you need to in order to combat this and feel comfortable. So shove some pillows and cushions where you need to when you go to sit down, stretch when you need to, and also when you go to sleep, you might find that you need to use your maternity pillow or your pregnancy pillow, or have a little bit of extra support from, lots of pillows around the place. Now another thing that you might be experiencing around this time is a thing called snissing. Snissing, I couldn't wait to talk to you about this. Have you ever seen a pregnant woman sneeze and then go, "Oh, excuse me, I've just snissed"? It's a real thing. Snissing is when you are pregnant and you sneeze and then you urinate. Okay, and often it will happen accidentally because the baby is putting pressure down in those nether regions. So something that you can do is go to the toilet quite regularly and quite often to make sure that there isn't much wee left, so that you don't sniff yourself, all right, and carry some pads around with you as well in case you need to. Now, some things that you might like to do this week is make sure you are moving, make sure you are exercising. You may also have some breathing difficulties around now, okay? So what you need to do is make sure you rest often, but some women can get quite dizzy and actually faint. So rest when you need to, put your feet up when you need to, and just make sure you're trying not to sleep on your back. So use a pregnancy pillow to support you sleeping on your side, because when you sleep on your back, your baby can actually put pressure on different nerves and stop the blood flowing up to your brain, and that can cause dizziness. So get up slowly as well. Now, another thing that you might like to really do around this week, if you haven't already, and I found this so beneficial, was research and start practicing some relaxation techniques. Now, I really loved my downtime and my relaxation techniques when I was pregnant because I was still busy and I was still working, but I actually found them really, really useful through both my pregnancies. So my first pregnancy, Ayla, was a cesarean, and because I was so well practiced at relaxing, while I was having my epidural, I was able to use those techniques, slow down my heart rate, monitor my heart rate, and minimize the stress. Because I'll be honest with you, I was scared because I didn't know exactly what I was expecting. And with my second pregnancy, those relaxation techniques came in really handy as well, because I was able to settle myself in between contractions and just keep my heart rate quite slow between contractions. Now, some other things that you might like to consider doing is, once again, tell your partner if you need some help. All right, go out and get some pads in case you need to, for two areas. All right, one, to stop the snissing, so some pads to put in your knickers, but you may also have leaky boobs. So just go out and get yourself some breast pads, especially if you're a person that's at work and is giving demonstrations or presentations, rather than have that embarrassing moment and look, you're pregnant. If your boobs leak, it really doesn't matter. It's a part of nature. But if you need to, just pop those pads in for time when you're out in public. I remember looking down and actually just wondering how on earth I'd spilled a whole heap of water over me, and I couldn't remember drinking, and it was my boobs leaking. So just carry them around with you just at times, just to feel comfortable. And also make sure you are taking in as much liquid as possible. All right, carry a water bottle around with you with those indicators like we spoke about, or set your alarm and drink as much water as possible. It's really important that you keep hydrated, especially if you're pregnant during those summer months. Sometimes we can be really busy and we can be forgetful when we're pregnant, and we forget to do the basic things that we need to. Also, if you're getting a little bit of gas around this week, you can start exploring some different foods that minimize that gas, because let's face it, pregnant women fart, and sometimes we do it when we don't want to do it. So it might just be handy recognizing the foods that make you fluff and avoiding them when you're out in public, if that's something that you're worried about. Anyway, ladies, we are loving being with you here at Ready Set Mum. Congratulations, you're at 27 weeks. You're coming towards the end of your second trimester and moving into your third trimester. We're loving your comments, and keep sending us your questions that you want us to look into for you here. And of course, your photos and your stories. And we look forward to seeing you next week for week 28 of your pregnancy. I'm hiding from my kids, but before you go, do you love this video? And did you want more great pregnancy information delivered directly to you? If so, make sure you just drop by and subscribe to Ready Set Mum using the links below. Good luck.